There are nights in the American desert when the air feels too still, when even the coyotes refuse to howl, when the moon seems to hang far too low, as if watching something it has witnessed for centuries. And on those nights, the legend becomes more than a whisper, more than a fear, more than a warning lost in the sand. On those nights, he returns. They call him the copper-eyed wanderer of Dead Horse Trail, a figure so old the desert itself seems carved around his memory. Travelers who see him are said to vanish between one breath and the next, taken by a man who moves without sound, whose eyes glow like molten metal beneath the black U.S. desert sky. Most people laugh at the legend, but the ones who don't? They are the ones who lived just long enough to wish they hadn't. And tonight, you're about to hear the only story ever told by someone who shouldn't have survived. Welcome to Echoes of Time. My name is Carter Hale, and 10 years ago, I made a mistake no man should ever make. I went searching for a legend that was already searching for me. I was a freelance photographer chasing forgotten American myths for a magazine that never paid enough to justify the risk. But when I heard about Dead Horse Trail, about the glowing-eyed stranger who appears once every decade, I knew I had found something different. Not a myth, not a rumor, a pattern. 10 years apart every time. 1910, 1920, 1930. The sightings continued, described the same way, written by different hands, across different eras. A man alone in the desert, eyes glowing copper like burning metal, appearing only to the lost. I arrived on July 3rd, the exact date the last known witness claimed he saw the wanderer. The desert felt wrong the moment I stepped out of my truck. Too quiet, too empty. The sky above looked like an ocean of black ink swallowing the stars one by one. I walked 6 miles into the sand with nothing but a flashlight, a camera, and the stupid kind of confidence only a man with no idea what he's doing carries. By midnight, something strange happened. The wind died. Completely. My footsteps sounded louder than they should have, like each step was being listened to by someone hidden beneath the earth. I kept walking, but every direction looked the same. Shadows of distant rocks, faint ripples of sand, a sky stretching forever. My GPS froze, my compass spun, and for the first time I realized the legend didn't start with him appearing. It started with you being lost. I turned in every direction, but the desert kept changing shape, like dunes moved when I blinked. I shouted, but the sound felt swallowed instantly. Then, I saw something impossible. A single footprint in the sand. Deep, fresh, human. But here's the terrifying part. It wasn't mine, and it wasn't going in any direction. No heel, no toe, just one perfect print, as if someone had stepped down and vanished upward. My breath went cold, the air tightened, and then the wind returned. But it didn't blow from the sky. It blew upward, from the ground. Sand lifted in spirals around the footprint, rising slowly like smoke. I staggered back. My flashlight flickered. Then it went dark. In the blackness, I heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Dragging. Approaching behind me. I turned around and froze. He was standing 50 feet away, a tall figure wrapped in a long dust-covered coat, hat brim low, face hidden in shadows, except for 2 burning copper eyes. They glowed, not reflected, glowed, like fire inside a skull. He didn't speak. He didn't breathe. He simply stared at me, as if he had been waiting for a century, and I had finally arrived. My legs locked. My throat tightened. I felt an instinct no human should feel. Not fear of death, fear of being chosen. He lifted one hand, motioning for me to follow. I couldn't understand why, but a voice, my own voice, whispered in my mind. If you run, he will follow. If you follow, you may live. My body moved before my mind. I walked toward him. Each step felt heavier, like the air was thickening. When I finally reached him, he turned and began walking into the darkest part of the desert. No sound, no footprints, no shadow, only those copper eyes glowing ahead of me. Hours passed, or seconds, I couldn't tell. Time felt stretched thin, like I was walking on the edge of something not meant for the living. He finally stopped at a canyon I had never seen on any map, a crack in the earth so narrow no human should fit through it. Yet he walked straight inside. I hesitated, but something pulled me forward. The moment I entered, the temperature dropped. The desert heat vanished, replaced by a cold that felt ancient. The walls shimmered faintly with markings, symbols I didn't recognize, similar to native inscriptions, but wrong, reversed, spiraled, shifting when I blinked. The wanderer's glow lit the walls. For a moment, I saw faces carved into the stone. Human faces, mouths open in silent screams. My pulse hammered. I tried to turn back, but the passage behind me had disappeared, sealed by darkness. The passage ahead opened into a vast chamber, illuminated by a strange copper light pulsing from the ceiling. The wanderer stopped in the center, and then he spoke, but not with a voice. His words poured directly into my skull like memories that weren't mine. You have entered the place of the lost. My knees buckled. The light brightened, revealing dozens, hundreds of objects on the ground. Cameras, bags, notebooks, shoes, belonging to travelers from different eras, belonging to people who had vanished on Dead Horse Trail. "Why me?" I whispered. The wanderer turned, and for the first time I saw his face clearly, or what was left of it. His skin looked stretched thin over bone, cracked like baked clay. His eyes weren't just glowing, they were burning, copper molten fire sealed in a skull. "You have entered the place of the lost," his voice echoed in my head, "because you still believe, and belief opens doors that must stay closed." The chamber rumbled, the walls shifted, the faces carved in stone began moving, their stone mouths opening as if gasping for air. I stumbled back, but the ground cracked beneath me. A massive fissure split the chamber, revealing a pit of swirling sand, moving like water. No, not water. Bodies. Human shapes trapped beneath the surface, reaching upward with silent, desperate hands. The wanderer stepped closer to the pit. Every 10 years, one soul must be taken to keep the desert closed. The world forgets its oldest doors, but the desert does not. I realized the truth. He wasn't a ghost. He wasn't a demon. He was a guardian, a prisoner, a sacrifice. "I don't want to die," I whispered. He tilted his head. "Then you must become what I am." The chamber went silent. The walls froze. The faces in the stone froze. The burning pit dimmed. And then the wanderer reached toward me. His hand pressed against my chest, and a shock of burning copper light surged through my veins. I screamed as my vision blurred, as the world twisted, as my heartbeat slowed, as my skin cracked like his. Darkness slammed into me. When I opened my eyes, I was standing alone in the desert, dawn light breaking over the dunes. My camera was gone. My phone was gone. My footprints behind me had already vanished. But something was wrong. My heartbeat didn't sound like a heartbeat anymore. It sounded like echoing metal. I ran to my truck, turned the mirror, and saw them. My eyes glowing copper. The Wanderer hadn't killed me. He had replaced himself. For the last 10 years, I wandered Dead Horse Trail at night, drawn to the lost, appearing only to those chosen by the desert. But something changed this year. Something awakened. Something older than the legend itself. And that's why I'm telling you this, because my time is ending. The next wanderer is being chosen. And if you're hearing this story, if you're listening at night, if the desert wind suddenly falls silent, he might already be looking for you. This has been Echoes of Time. If you want more legends, more forgotten truths, more stories no one else will dare tell, then like, comment, and subscribe. The desert remembers those who don't.